Hi friends, I'm Monique and I'm back today with a new layout that I've created for Scrap the Boys challenge. So this month our challenge is to use tags in our layout, and I've really enjoyed finding lots of uses for them. And I've got this cute little photo of my little boy. He was recently Star of the Week at school, and I really want to scrap that, and I've got these lovely little tags from a Simple Stories cut apart sheet which are just ideal for this photo. So I'm going to start off by cutting out this one that says "You're a Star," and that is going to be something that I'm going to work into my layout. There's also another little cute one that says "Reach for the Star," so I'm just having a look to see which ones tie in nicely with the theme of my layout and getting those ready so that I can get started. Now I've got this lovely set of metal dies from scrapbook.com, and they're actually tag dies, which is perfect for this challenge. However, I don't use it as a tag, so I'm just going to be using it to create a clipboard. So I've got this sheet of pattern paper, and it looks like a cork board, and I thought that would be perfect as the backing board really of a clipboard. So I cut that out, but I don't cut out the little hole that would be for a tag. So I've left it just as that kind of tag shape without the hole, and I've stamped this little clip, which I'm then going to add on as my clipboard. I'm not 100% certain where I want to go with this layout, so I'm starting with the photo first and kind of building up from there. So I have this idea that I want my photo to be on the clipboard, but I want it to kind of be layered on top of a stack of papers that are kind of clipped under that big clip. So I've just looked through the journaling pad from Chamel's field trip collection and taken out a few of the journal pages, which I think will work quite nicely, and I'm trimming them down to fit. And in a moment I'm going to be using my note paper edging punch just to kind of give it that like torn note paper edging at the top, and I want to ruffle it up just so that it's got some roughed edges, which I'll do shortly. But first let me get this stack sorted. So I've got another piece of journaling paper here, and it's got a slightly like blue tone, and I'm just trimming that down. It's going to be a little bit smaller than the page that I've already used, but that's okay because I want it to have that effect of layering. So I want to be able to see all the different layers that are underneath that clip. I do have to laugh at myself while I watch back this video because it seems like I'm lifting up that clip multiple times, almost as if it's a real clip. Anyway, here I am just distressing the edges with my scissors, and just to give it like a bit of a ruffled look, almost like they've been well used underneath that clip. And I'm just layering them together, and I'm really liking how that's looking. Now to bring in the tag elements, I've got a couple more tags that I've cut, and I want to see how I can incorporate them, if I can just have them peeking out from behind the pages. Now these two that have the sentiments on, I really want them to be kind of part of that clipboard, but I don't want to hide the text, so I'm having a little play just to see how that works and just to get an idea of where I'm going to go with those. But in the meantime, I've got these other two tags, which I quite like the look of, with them just peeking out from behind that photo. So I think at this point that those are going to go there, but I'm still not sure about those text tags and what I'm going to do with them. So while I'm thinking, I'm just going to stick down my photo and just build up this clipboard, because I am very certain of how I want that to look, and I'm very happy with how that's all come together. Now, as soon as I started this, I just knew I wanted one of the corners of that journaling paper to have like this curled up edge, just like pages invariably end up doing once they've been on a clipboard. So I love just curling up that corner just to give it an authentic feel. And I've just trimmed down these tags a little bit because I can definitely make use of the other bits that would otherwise just be hidden under that photo. So I'm just cropping them down, and I'll save those for another project. Now I'm not sure if I'm going to actually put any cord or string or ribbon through these little tag holes, but I go ahead and I just punch the holes anyway, just so that the hole's there should I need to add some thread later. But I'm just going to see how it all comes together and if I need to add thread or not. I'm going to use some clear silicone adhesive to stick down that clip, and I love silicone glue because it's like a gel medium adhesive almost, and it allows you to really kind of give lots of dimension to to where you're using it. So I can have the long bit of the clip really flush against the photo with the top bit slightly raised, and you can kind of manipulate it quite nicely. So it gives a real authentic feel, like it's a real clip in how it's sitting on the page. So I've got this lovely acrylic piece, text piece that says Simply Amazing. It's from Peartree Cutfiles, and it's so lovely. The little inserts for each of those letters are in rainbow colors as well as white, and at this point I decide not to use them. I'm just going to use the outline, and the feeling I've got is like kind of like a chalkboard. The background page that I've got is from the Echo Park Coffee and Friends collection, and I've had it for a while, and I'd put it aside for a school themed photo because it made me think of a chalkboard. So I've pulled it out for this layout, and I really like the white popping up against it. And I've got these lovely little rainbow coloured stars, also from Peartree Cutfiles, little perspex pieces, and I've got this idea just to kind of scatter them diagonally across the page in a rainbow of colours. And these teeny tiny little stars are just lovely little confetti pieces just to add in as well in the same colour scheme. You'll see as we go along, I do remove those. I still incorporate some of the stars, but not quite how I've got it planned just here. So now I want to add in another tag. I found a place for the one that says, I think it says You're a Star, but I want to add another one just kind of between the clipboard and the You're a Star tag. So I want something that's not too busy. So I've gone for this journaling paper. It's just a little offcut from the mat behind the photo, and I've just used one of the other tags as a template just to cut that out, and I'm just going to pop that in between just to kind of have a nice flow between the two things. I'm still having a play with these different confetti stars. I just love that they come in all the rainbow colors. I can just foresee them being a staple on my layouts. They're just so handy for extra interest. Now I've got this little journal card that I want to include. I'd started stamping on it, and then I decided, no, actually I'm going to print something directly off of my child's online learning profile. It was a comment that his teacher made on his online learning profile about why he was chosen as Star of the Week, so I'm just going to print that off directly and stick that onto the tab. But in the meantime, I've got a few different embellishments. These pencils are fussy cut from a piece of pattern paper from Vicky Bouton's Colour Study collection. I've got some bits from Chamel's Field Trip collection, that number line underneath the title, and that little stack of books is from Doodlebug. So I'm really stash busting here with loads of bits and pieces from my collection. Now I'm still playing with these stars. I'm not 100% sure. So I've taken off the colourful stars, and I've put back some puffy stickers and some gold stars, and I've kind of ended up focusing on a triangle of stars, one in the top left, one at the bottom center, and one on the right, just kind of making a visual triangle around my photo and main embellishments. And I'm just kind of working on those three clusters. So the gold stars come out, then they go back in, and then I put some colored ones in, and then I just switch them about quite a lot, and you'll see at the end I ended up with all of them in those three clusters. But in the meantime, let me start to get everything stuck down. So I've taken a piece of craft foam, which I'm just going to be sticking down behind my clipboard just to raise it up a little bit, just to give a little bit of height and interest. And I'm just sticking that down with some Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. And I'm going to then stick down my acrylic piece using the same adhesive. I find it always works really well. It comes out white, but it dries clear, and it sticks beautifully. It's my absolute favorite liquid adhesive. So now these pencils, I'm going to vary how I stick them down. Two I'm going to stick down with some skinny double-sided tape, just sticking them directly onto the photo, and then the other two I'm going to use some thin strips of double-sided adhesive craft foam, just so that they're raised up, so that the pencils are varying heights, just for a little bit of extra interest. Now everything else is stuck directly onto the background. So the main focus of this page is the photo and the clipboard, so that's raised up, center of attention, and everything is kind of recessed into the background. Now this page has taken and does take quite a little bit of fiddling to get it how I want. It gets to the point where I think I'm finished, but then I add more in. So it really goes on a bit of a journey to get it until I'm really happy with how everything is. But it all comes together in the end. So now I'm just sticking down these tags. before moving on to the journaling card, which I just tuck in the background. Now, like I'd said, I'd wanted to stamp down all the information that his teacher had commented on about why he was chosen as Star of the Week, but I realized I wouldn't have enough space to stamp it all down. And that's when I decided I'm just going to print off the exact text that I get and stick that down, but I save that right until the very, very end. So I'm just sticking down this number line, and I thought it's perfect because it only goes up to number 6, and he was 6 when he was Star of the Week, so that is ideal. That was just a lucky coincidence. And I'm just continuing the theme of distressing all the edges, so I've distressed those and I'm sticking that under there as well. Now I want to raise up those little books as well, just that they kind of pop up off that clipboard, and I just want to kind of tuck them in that space just underneath those little tags and next to the title, just filling in that gap. Now there's a natural frame around this page because of the piece of pattern paper I've used in the background. However, I do feel like it just needs an extra something, and I was going to do some white stitching to kind of look a bit like a doodle border, and then I thought, why am I going to stitch white when I can just doodle a white border, because that's the effect I wanted to have. I wanted to look doodled, and nothing more authentic than actually doing the doodle. So that's what I do. I use a white jelly roll pen, which stands out really nicely against that black background, and here I come in fiddling with those stars again. So I fiddled with those for ages, as I've done already in this layout, and I have this idea that I want to do some stamping onto that white background with some white ink. I want it to kind of look like chalk, so I'm hoping my white ink pad will stand out on that background, and I'm going to choose a few stamps. I've got this idea to stamp some stars and to stamp some text, so I'm not 100% sure how it'll look like, so I'm just going to give it a try. So I've pulled out a whole bunch of my stamp sets which have appropriate sentiments and pictures, and I'm just having a go at stamping them on. I do test the white ink out on some white cardstock first just to see how it works, and I really quite like how that looks. So I've got 3 little stars in various shapes, so I'm going to stamp those in those 3 cluster areas just to add a little bit of extra interest, and I'm going to use all of the 3 sizes as well. I love using the different sizes when it comes to using sequins. I really like to use a variety of different sizes. I just think it gives quite nice interest to a layout. So I really just go by feel here, just doing one star at a time and moving about the kind of loose star pieces, just seeing how it all looks together and adding in little stamped bits here and there where I feel something's needed. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick these stars down and commit. You'll also have noticed on that little journaling page card, I've stuck down some little alphas that say Star of the Week. So I obviously didn't film that bit, but I've added that in at the top, and then my journaling can go underneath. Now I've just gone through this lovely sticker sheet from Chamel's field trip collection, which I've barely used, and I'm just making use of some of the lovely stickers. They work perfectly for this layout. There's some lovely little sentiments. There's a little tab that says documented, and I've stuck a sticker on that says today, and then there's another one that says date, where I'm going to stamp the dates down, and they all just work really, really nicely for this layout. So here's one that says #genius and then epic, so again, perfectly appropriate. Now I've got these lovely 2 little gold paper clips, which I'm just putting on either side of the layout, and now I just want to add some little white splatters. I've got this lovely liquid watercolor paint from Campbella. It's locally made in the UK by a small business, and I just love her watercolor paints, and this liquid watercolor is really, really shimmery, and it's just beautiful. So I've used a very, very teeny tiny paintbrush so that I've got a very fine mist of paint splatters. You can see in there that's really, really fine. So now at this point, when I'm showing you this close-up, I think that I am done. However, you'll see in the close-ups that I go in and I add the colored acrylic pieces to that title piece for the word amazing. I also go in and add some larger acrylic colorful stars, and you'll see that now. There are those acrylic stars. I've also added in the journaling, as well as my son's own writing about how he felt proud when he was Star of the Week. Now you can find all the details for this challenge over on the Scrap the Boys Challenge blog as well as their Facebook group. I've linked it up all for you down below. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!